Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now November 23rd of 2022, and not only are we getting closer to, of course, other Star Wars shows out there like Bad Batch 2, Mando 3, and the Ahsoka series, but we also have a lot of announcements on the horizon that are going to take place, by the way, at Star Wars Celebration next year, as well as next year's D23 event, which is something, by the way, that I think every fan out there needs to look out for. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about John and Dave and what they are doing behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm has a lot to do with the fact of what has been going on with establishing the Star Wars Legends lore and how that's going to all mix together with the already established Star Wars canon, and how they're going to be able to create a very equal balance, so to speak. So what's been going on right now between Bob Iger and Bob Chapek is that there is a transition taking place, with Iger taking over as the Disney CEO, with Chapek officially leaving now. So there's a lot of changes coming our way over at Disney, generally speaking. Thankfully, on the Star Wars end of things, nothing is going to be sabotaged when it comes to John and Dave's work. However, Iger does want to do better when it comes to what John and Dave have in store. Now, one thing that Favreau has been working on that is now finally moving forward at a rapid rate has a lot to do with something that has never been done before in Star Wars history that is now finally coming to fruition. So we're going to be going over all of this right now, of what Favreau was able to do and what's, involving, of course, Filoni in the mix as well. Now, on top of this too, with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni gearing up to place many retcons toward the sequel trilogy films using the Mandoverse, they are also working on other revelations in the Star Wars universe. Now, it's noted that right now, Jon Favreau is in the process of creating one of the most mysterious characters in the Star Wars world that fans have been craving to see in live-action form. Now, it's noted that Favreau, along with Filoni, are bringing the character known as Darth Plagueis to live-action form by 2025, using Michael Shannon to provide the motion capture work that is said to hold new technology that will actually outperform the tech that was used in The Last Jedi to create Snoke. Now, John and Dave are said to be going above and beyond by including Plagueis in multiple upcoming Star Wars TV shows that will not only explore his Force abilities, but also his knowledge with the Force and, of course, everything that surrounds it. One show that he is set to appear in is labeled as Circle of the Wills, a new anthology show that will focus on 12 different stories instead of course, 10 now. 3 of which will involve Plagueis in some way, shape, or form with different characters across time. So let me just stop here for a second. Now, what I like about this is that this is something, by the way, we talked about a couple of weeks ago that was initially created by George Lucas. He's the one that convinced Chapek to create this, and now Favreau is actually getting heavily involved as well and really making it happen in greater detail. Now, for the longest time, a lot of fans have been waiting to see what Plagueis would be like in live-action form. We never got to see that in the sequel trilogy, nor did we ever get to see that in, of course, any other Star Wars film at that point. Now, what Favreau is doing is that he is allowing Michael Shannon to do the motion capture work. Now, if you know Michael Shannon, he could very well be a great candidate for Plagueis, and that's said to be a concrete decision right now for him to do the motion capture work for Plagueis. He was in movies like Man of Steel and other major movies out there that he has actually took part in. And for him to voice Plagueis, I think could really work, because he's got that deep, villainous, sinister type of sound that he can provide. He's a very good villain actor. I would actually go as far to say one of the best villain actors out there. Some fans may disagree with that. That's perfectly fine. I'm not only referencing Man of Steel, by the way. There's a lot of other things out there that he has done where he plays the villainous role. Go ahead and check out his IMDb. But on top of this, what's even all the more impressive about this is that Bob Iger is allowing Favreau to expand this, and he's allowing him to actually take advantage of this situation further. Alright, so this was all, by the way, greenlit by Chapek before Iger took over as Disney CEO. Iger is now allowing this to happen still, so this is living proof now that nothing will be sabotaged for John and Dave by Bob Iger. Bob Iger only wants to make things better, not genuinely, I guess, but more so out of desperation. Iger is literally panicking right now with everything that has been happening with the Star Wars end and the Marvel end, and they're trying to improve things day by day at a very fast rate. Now on to the next thing. Alright, so Favreau's plan is to also show fans how Palpatine killed his own master in his sleep for the first time in live action, and that Favreau is now officially moving toward keeping his promise by making Plagueis into the Mun species once again, since Disney has kept that very secret for the past couple of years. Michael Shannon has been in the talks to play Plagueis now for the past year and a half, and recently signed on with Favreau to actually play the part, what is being described as the most menacing character to have been explored in Star Wars live action that will be told by 2025. Lucasfilm's plan to announce these major plans by the end of 2023 for the Star Wars community around the world is, of course, their big focus. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, Darth Plagueis is a very important role. It's a role that needs to be handled very carefully. They can't really mess around with it too much. They have to make sure that they are really going to provide, a superb experience for the community and really giving the fans something very fun to look forward to. Do I think that Michael Shannon can do the job? Absolutely. Look at Andy Serkis. I think he did a great job as Snoke in The Force Awakens and in The Last Jedi. It's probably like one of the very few highlights of The Last Jedi of a disastrous movie, at least in my opinion. Now, when you look at a character like Plagueis, this is a character that we still don't know to this day how he sounds, what he sounds like, I should say, what he sounds like, how he acts, his mannerisms, just everything. We don't know what the character is like in live action. We've read the book, we've listened to the audiobook, Plagueis and stuff like that, but beyond that, we really don't know much about how this character acts in live action form. So obviously, there's a lot of things happening right now on Favreau's end to really course correct the Star Wars universe. Bob Chapek really wants to course correct it as well, and that's why he's on board with everything that Favreau and Filoni are currently developing. Again, this is something that Favreau considers to be a groundbreaking development in the Star Wars world to showcase how Palpatine destroyed his master, how Palpatine fell to the dark side under Plagueis, and exactly how Plagueis came into the whole picture from the very beginning. That's what this anthology series is about, Circle of the Whills, by the way. It's about the Whills who are watching all the events of Star Wars take place from point A to point B, essentially. So, anyways, guys, on top of all this, let me know what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night